Hello, fellow birdies, and welcome to another edition of Charles's Writing Mukbang, Mr. Songbird's Writing Mukbang. It's a pleasure to see you folks again. I hope you've been having an excellent week. This time we're going to do things a little bit differently. You see, rather than choosing to read a book to review this time, I've come up with a new idea that I'm going to be trying to do. But first, this is homemade cheese fondue with some hot dogs mixed in. The recipe will be in the pinned comment below. I've requested this several times. It's amazing. It's got I think it's cheddar, American, and then it's got a bunch of little chilies inside. And it tastes delicious. Correct if I'm wrong. She's right here. Hi, sweetie. Now, as you may know, I enjoy challenging myself. So, in this video, I'm announcing a challenge for myself. My goal is, by the end of this month, I want to have finished a rough draft for a romance novella. Not editing, of course, because, simply put, in any book that you read, the editing probably took longer than the writing did. I shouldn't say that, because there are authors who manage to do it without much editing. And then there are authors who do it with edit, and they could have used some editing. I won't name names. Now, like I said, this could be a romance novella. Now, romance is a very wide genre. I have a lot of options here. But this one, I've been giving some thought to it. I've mostly finished the outline. In fact, I'll finish it by the time you see this, because my goal is to have it finished by the end of tonight. And if I don't finish it by the end of tonight, then I'll go and get started anyway. I've pretty much got it already finished, but I haven't, put in the finishing touches. Here's what I mean by options. And it may seem obvious, but the romance genre has a bunch of different categories, ranging from urban, fantasy romance, action adventure, mystery, and pretty much everything in between. Oh, and of course, paranormal. Who can forget that? This book I plan to keep relatively simple. So it's going to be a contemporary romance. And in terms of, how should I put this, content, I'm going to keep it basically suitable for teen and up. So there will be mentions of adult situations that happen, but they will happen off camera for the most part. Now, let me explain you. I've gone to this a few times in the past, but as I said before, I'm a firm believer in outlining to start out your story. That said, the level of outline can vary. Some like to go very thorough. Others like to go very, very basic. Just say this is what happens in a general sense. I'd go somewhere in between. I'll write out key plot developments, but I'm not going to go into too much detail to give myself plenty of flexibility when I start writing them. And I'm going to be using my writing coach's 7-beat romance outline, where basically there's 7 key elements that occur from start to finish. This is pretty straight genre fiction. I'm not looking to write the next, Great Gatsby, Wuthering Heights. I'm not looking to write the next great American novel. I'll put it that way. I'm simply looking to improve myself and try something new and have fun doing it. Now, like I said, this would be more on the sweet than the steamy side. Other things to consider, is it going to have a happy ever after? Yes, that's actually an important part of advertising for what I'm seeing on these romances. You often are required, at least by genre convention, to list on the description, yes, there's a happy ever after. Spoiler warning, there's a happy ever after. I hope that doesn't shock you too much. Now, a good romance has a lot of conflict to it. For that matter, every good story has lots of conflict to it. If you don't have conflict, you have data, not a story. In this case, the characters make note. Remember to mute your phone next time you do a video. In this case, the characters are both at odds with each other, although they may not realize this at first, or at least one of them doesn't. She is in the process of committing maybe considered a felony. I don't know if the exact legal rules, but corporate espionage. He is trying to protect the company that his childhood friend built, and he's been working on it for years. It's practically his baby. She is trying to steal information from the company to help her brother escape a loan shark. One thing I've read, and I believe in, is that in any good story, the stakes are quite literally death. Not necessarily death in the physical sense. Like, not every story has the risk of the main character being shot, for example, or stabbed, or what have you. But death can take many forms, or in this case 3. It can take the form of physical death. Literally, they die if they fail. It can take the form of professional death, or it can take the form of psychological death. They may still be alive, but they are dead inside and will never recover. If he fails, in this case for the story, if he fails, then the company he and his friend have built from the bare scratch will tumble into ruins. Everything he's worked for will be gone. If she fails, her brother will at best be sent to jail or possibly die, depending on how I decide to handle the loan shark. I'm going to be reporting my results to you on a weekly basis. So for the next 3 weeks, or this week and the next 2 weeks after it, you'll receive an update every single week as to my results. Scratch that, 3 weeks. Because there's exactly 30 days this month, and when you're seeing this, it's the 9th. So I'll be able to do one on the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. Now, my hope is that each of us will enjoy this. You will get the opportunity to see as I work on a story, in the process of doing so. I'll get the opportunity to, simply put, test myself, which is always fun. Now, as a novella usually stretches between 20 and 30,000 words, that's roughly what I'm aiming for. I think 20,000 words in the rough draft should be sufficient, because what you will discover is that the editing process almost always adds more than it takes away. There are exceptions, but for me it's always been that way. When did my second to last draft of my book, my main book, The Mage Trials, I was at roughly 50,000 words. In the end, it clocked in at roughly 78,000. Excuse me. So I figure that if I get to 20,000 words in the rough draft and finish it, I'll probably add another 5, 10, 15,000 in the editing process. But for now, I'll let you folks go. Have a great rest of your day, and enjoy your September week. Farewell. Bye, fellow birdies.